Hey everybody, come on in here. Nicholas, the rest of you. We've got to talk about this flag persuasion and how to do it right, because people are doing it wrong all over the place. And so, I thought I'd set it right. As soon as we get 1,000 people, I'll launch into my point here. So this will be a little persuasion lesson, a mini lesson on a single topic, but valuable. You can take it with you. All right, it goes like this. So a few days ago, I recommended that based on science, it's been shown that people who have seen a picture of the United States flag, once they see the flag, they get primed to vote Republican, even if they weren't inclined a minute before they saw the flag. So the flag has this weird power over Americans that just biases them to vote Republican. So I had suggested that starting Sunday, which would be midnight tonight, that people tweet lots of flags. But I had a very specific direction, and I'm watching online some people who are enthusiastic and trying to get ahead of it are doing it completely wrong. Okay? So let me teach you a persuasion lesson at the same time I'm telling you why they're doing it wrong. The correct answer is just a flag. No words, nothing around the flag that has any meaning whatsoever. So let me tell you the ones that I've seen that are wrong. So far I've seen a number of people who are trying to go the extra distance, and they're showing rows of flags in cemeteries. You could not persuade worse than that. Cemetery, dead, is the worst thing you want to combine for this purpose. There are plenty of purposes. Yeah, obviously I'm not suggesting that there should be no flags at a cemetery. That's a good place for them for military people. But for this purpose, you only want people to think about the flag. Don't take their mind to war. Don't take their mind to death and cemeteries. Total mistake. It's like a really big mistake. It's a 10 and a 10 on mistake, persuasion-wise. So again, flag only, nothing around it. No graves, no buildings. I saw somebody else tweet an American flag on a building that looked like maybe a little run down. Don't do that, because people are thinking about the building. The building becomes part of the message. Just a flag. No words. Do not add, please vote. Do not add, vote for a candidate. Do not add, do your duty. Do not add, America. Do not add any words. And here's the persuasion lesson that accompanies that point. If you have a perfect message, everything you add to it takes away from it. All right, that's the lesson. It seems obvious when I say it, right? If your persuasion is already solid gold, perfect, everything you add to it decreases its power. If you add one word to it, decreases its power. One extra image anywhere else in the picture, except maybe the flagpole, decreases its power. So that's the important thing. Let me give you an example of how a trained hypnotist, of which I am one, how I use that when I develop Dilbert. You've all seen Dilbert, and you know that Dilbert doesn't have a last name. Do you know why Dilbert doesn't have a last name? Because if he did, you would start reading into him more than I want you to. If he had a last name, you'd say, oh, that tells me what ethnicity he is, like what country of origin he's from. And I can't relate to that because I'm not whatever that country of origin is. So by leaving out Dilbert's last name, I make him more popular. Anything I added to tell you where he lives, what his last name is, even what kind of car he drives, decreases your ability to relate to him and say, oh yeah, I work in an office. I'm that guy, you know. Likewise, you notice that the boss has no name, because the boss is a perfect prototype of the incompetent boss. The moment I add him a name and say, his name is Bob, you say to yourself, he reminds me of my boss, but my boss is not named Bob. Now, you don't consciously do that, but everything you say about the boss that goes beyond the fact that he's a perfect icon for incompetent bosses, the moment you go beyond that and say his name is Eric, you've decreased its value. You haven't increased it. So here's the lesson. In hypnosis, people understand that once your message is perfect, do not add to it. Do not add to it. In the sales community, that would be called talking past the sale, not to be confused with making people think past the sale, which is good. So here's an example of talking past the sale. Salesperson. The salesperson, who will be played by Dale. So I say to the salesperson, hey, how much are these? Those are $59. That's great. Does everything I want? Yes, it will charge your phone. All right, great. I'll take it. It's one of the best there is. What? It's one of the best batteries you can buy. You mean there are other batteries that are in that same class? Yes. So maybe I should look at them. Are some of them better? Yeah, a little bit. Some of them. Do you have any of those better batteries in stock? Not right now. So if I go ahead and buy this the way you suggested, I will not have the best battery. But I could walk home and order the best battery online. Is that what you're telling me? Maybe. All right, that's an example of talking past the sale. The sale had been made. Customer was going to buy it. He just kept talking until he said something that made the customer go, what? All right, so don't make that mistake with your flag image. Pick a flag that's just a flag. And I would also recommend that you not wear people out with your flag. So, for example, you might tweet one flag someday tomorrow, maybe one or two, maybe by Monday, several flags, maybe by Tuesday, that's all you're tweeting. So midnight tonight is when you should all consider tweeting an American flag, because and let me tell you, there is no symbol in the American experience that is more likely to get you to stand up. Do you get that? If you're trying to get people to act in a big way, and acting in a big way means planning to vote, actually going to vote, standing in line, there's probably going to be a line, doing all the work of voting. If you're trying to get somebody to do a big thing, it really, really helps, persuasion-wise, to first get them to do a small thing and just sort of get them going. And the American flag is unique. What's your first instinct when you see an American flag? It's to act, right? You're going to salute it, you're going to touch your heart, you're going to stand for it. If you saw, let me give you two examples. You're walking down the street, and there are two things that you see on the sidewalk and the ground. Two things. One of them is a $20 bill, just laying there, and the other is an American flag. And you see them at the same time, and they're right next to each other. Which one do you pick up first? Right? Right? You're going to pick up the flag first. And then if the 20 is still there, you'll think about the 20. But you're going to pick up the flag first. Okay, if they're close enough together, you pick them up at the same time. But you're going to pick up the flag. So my point is that the flag creates action like no symbol ever has for Americans. It is the most action-oriented symbol And it biases people Republican. So if that's what you want to bias people, that's what you do. Okay. I want to keep this just to that one point, and I will sign off for now, and I'll talk to you later.